InnerWhisper channel.
What happens when you finally let go? Letting go. Two words that sound simple, yet carry a weight that can transform a life. In a world that constantly pushes us to hold tighter, to accumulate more, to cling to identities, possessions, and even pain, the idea of releasing our grip feels almost unnatural. And yet, when you look closely, every moment of peace, every spark of joy, and every breath of freedom comes not from holding on, but from loosening your grasp. We live in a culture that teaches us to chase success, chase recognition, chase stability, chase love, chase approval. We are told that the measure of a life well lived is how much we hold onto our career titles, our bank accounts, our relationships, our image. But behind all that chasing, isn't there a quiet exhaustion, a hidden whisper inside that asks, is this it? Am I really free? Or am I just a prisoner of my own grasping? Imagine holding a rope so tightly that your hands start to burn. At first, you might not notice because you're focused on not letting go. But eventually, the pain becomes unbearable, and the only path to relief is to release your grip. Life works in much the same way. The rope can be a grudge you refuse to forgive, a memory you refuse to release, or a dream you refuse to adjust. And the tighter you hold, the more it hurts. But when you finally let go, you realize that freedom was waiting all along. Letting go does not mean giving up. It does not mean apathy or indifference. True letting go is not about abandoning life. It is about embracing it fully. It is the art of loosening the chains that keep us bound, so that we can step into the present moment with openness, curiosity, and courage. When we let go, we are not losing. We are gaining the freedom to experience life as it is, without the weight of unnecessary burdens. Think about water. When you try to grasp it with your hands, it slips away, no matter how hard you squeeze. But if you simply let your hand rest open, water rests gently in your palm. This is the essence of letting go. Life cannot be forced into submission. It cannot be controlled in every detail. The more we try, the more it resists. But when we soften, when we open, when we let go, life flows naturally. And in that flow we discover a happiness that no amount of clinging could ever bring. Why do we struggle to let go? Because our minds are wired to believe that control equals safety. If I can hold onto this job, I'll be secure. If I can hold onto this relationship, I'll never be alone. If I can hold onto this identity, I'll always know who I am. But life has a way of teaching us, again and again, that nothing is permanent. Jobs end. Relationships change. Identities shift. And the more we fight this truth, the more we suffer. Letting go begins with honesty, with the courage to admit that we are not in control of everything. And that's okay. The seasons change, whether we approve or not. The body ages, whether we consent or not. People we love will leave, and others will enter. Pain will come, and so will joy. And all of it is part of the great dance of life. The sooner we accept this, the sooner we stop fighting reality and start living it. But here is the paradox. Though letting go may sound like losing, it actually allows us to gain what truly matters. When we let go of resentment, we gain peace. When we let go of perfection, we gain creativity. When we let go of control, we gain freedom. And when we let go of the past, we gain the present, the only place where life is truly happening. Let me ask you this. How much of your life have you spent replaying the past, rehearsing old conversations, reliving old mistakes, replaying what you wish you had done differently? Or how much of your life has been consumed by the future, worrying about what's to come, anxious about what might happen, obsessing over outcomes you cannot predict, and in the middle of all that, holding on? How many present moments have you missed? How many sunsets? How many laughs? How many quiets, sacred, unrepeatable moments of joy? Letting go is not just an idea. It is a practice. It is the daily choice to release what no longer serves you, to soften where you are rigid, and to open your hands to the gift of this moment. It is not always easy, but it is always worth it. Because the truth is, the weight you carry is often heavier than it needs to be. And you, my friend, are allowed to set it down. The art of letting go is the art of trust. Trusting that even if you release your grip, life will not collapse. Trusting that even when you loosen your control, the ground beneath you will hold. Trusting that by letting go of the old, you create space for the new. This is not blind faith, it is the wisdom that comes from noticing, again and again, that life has always carried you, even when you thought you couldn't make it. Consider the trees in autumn. Their leaves turn golden and fall to the ground. If the tree tried to hold onto those leaves, it would not only be futile, but it would also prevent the new growth of spring. Letting go is part of the cycle of renewal, and you are no different. The parts of your life that you release, whether it is a toxic relationship, an old identity, or a limiting belief, make room for the new, for growth, for transformation. You say, happiness is not found in accumulation, but in release. The happiest people are not those who have everything, but those who can let go of anything. They are not defined by what they cling to, but by what they are free from. And that freedom, that lightness, is available to you right now. All it takes is the courage to let go. Letting go often begins in the smallest moments. It is not only about the big events in life, the end of a relationship, the loss of a loved one, the collapse of a dream. It is also about the quiet decisions we make every day. When you choose not to argue over something trivial, when you stop scrolling endlessly through news that only fuels your anxiety, when you forgive yourself for a mistake you made years ago, these are acts of letting go. They are small, but they accumulate into a life that feels lighter, freer, more present. Yet many people confuse letting go with weakness. They think, if I let go, I'll be taken advantage of. If I let go, I'll lose my edge. If I let go, it means I don't care, but the truth is the opposite. Letting go is not weakness. It is strength. It takes far more courage to release than to cling. Anyone can cling to resentment, to control, to fear. But it takes a brave heart to open the hand and trust that life will still be okay. Think about forgiveness. Many of us carry old wounds, and we believe that holding on to anger somehow protects us. We say, if I forgive, it means what happened doesn't matter. If I forgive, it means they win, but holding on to anger is like carrying burning coal in your hands. It doesn't hurt the other person. It only burns you. Forgiveness is not saying the past was okay. It is saying you no longer want to live chained to it. It is setting yourself free. That is the essence of letting go. Letting go is also about our expectations. How often do we suffer not because of what happened, but because of how we thought it should have happened? We expect people to behave a certain way. We expect life to unfold according to our script. We expect outcomes to match our plans. And when they don't, we cling tighter. We resist. We rage against reality. But life is not obligated to follow our expectations. The sooner we release them, the sooner we discover the beauty of what actually is. Picture a child building a sandcastle on the beach. They spend hours shaping it, decorating it, admiring it, and then the tide comes in and the waves wash it away. The child does not curse the ocean. They do not demand that the waves retreat. They may feel sadness for a moment, but then they pick up their bucket and start building again. That is letting go the ability to love what is here while it lasts, and to release it when it passes. In our own lives, how often do we cling to sandcastles, a job title that once defined us, a relationship that no longer nurtures us, a version of ourselves that we've outgrown? We fight to keep them, even when the tide of life is pulling them away. But true wisdom is knowing when to let the tide carry them, and when to turn back to the sand with childlike wonder, ready to create anew. Another form of letting go is loosening our grip on identity. We all carry stories about who we are. I am successful, I am a failure, I am a victim, I am strong, I am unworthy. These stories can be comforting, but they can also be cages. When we cling too tightly to an identity, we block ourselves from growth. Letting go means recognizing that you are not your story. You are not the labels you've been given, nor the mistakes you've made, nor even the successes you've achieved. You are something larger, something freer, something constantly unfolding. Have you ever noticed how much of your suffering comes not from what happened, but from your resistance to it? A plan changes, and you get upset not because the new plan is terrible, but because it wasn't your plan. Someone criticizes you, and you spiral not because their words define you, but because you resist the discomfort of hearing them. Life presents itself, and instead of flowing with it, we push against it. Resistance is suffering. Letting go is the end of that resistance. But how do we practice letting go in daily life? Start with awareness. Notice when you're clinging. Notice when your mind is replaying the past or rehearsing the future. Notice when your body tightens, your breath shortens, your heart races. These are signs that you are holding too tightly. Then, gently remind yourself, I don't have to carry this. Take a breath. Imagine opening your hand. Imagine setting down the heavy bag you've been carrying. Feel the relief in your body. That is the practice of letting go. Meditation can also be a powerful teacher of release. When you sit quietly and observe your breath, thoughts arise. Some are pleasant, some are painful, some are neutral. The mind wants to chase the pleasant ones and push away the painful ones. But the practice is to notice and then let go. Not chasing, not resisting, simply observing and releasing. Over time, you realize that this is how life works as well. Thoughts, emotions, experiences, they arise, they pass, and you are the awareness that remains. There is also a joy in letting go that people often overlook. We think of it as a loss, but it is also a gain. When you let go of clutter in your home, you gain space. When you let go of toxic people, you gain peace. When you let go of old regrets, you gain energy. When you let go of control, you gain trust. Every act of letting go creates room for something new, something fresh, something alive. And what about love? Many of us confuse love with possession. We think loving someone means holding tightly, keeping them close, making sure they never leave. But true love is spacious. It allows freedom. It says, I love you enough to let you be yourself. I love you enough to let you grow. I love you enough to let you go. If that is what you need, letting go in love is not the end of love, it is its highest form. Think of the parents who watch their children grow. They hold them close when they are small, but as the years pass, they let them walk, then run, then leave home, then create lives of their own. Each step requires letting go, and each step is painful and beautiful at once. That is love in action. The same is true in friendships, in romance, in all human connection. To hold on too tightly suffocates. To let go creates space for love to breathe, to expand, to transform. And in that spaciousness, happiness flourishes. Letting go also requires us to release our grip on perfection. How much of our stress comes from trying to make everything flawless? The perfect career, the perfect body, the perfect home, the perfect plan. But perfection is an illusion. Life is messy. People are imperfect. We are imperfect. And that imperfection is not a flaw, it is the fabric of beauty. When you let go of perfection, you discover the freedom to create, to enjoy, to live. One of the greatest gifts of letting go is presence. When you are not clinging to the past or grasping for the future, you can finally be here. You can taste your food. You can hear the laughter of your friends. You can watch the sun sink below the horizon and feel its warmth on your skin. You can notice the small miracles that are always around you. This is happiness not in some distant future, not in a perfect life, but right here, right now, in the present moment. Life is too short to spend it carrying unnecessary weight. Every day you wake up is a chance to put something down. Put down the regrets. Put down the fear. Put down the need to control. Put down the anger. Not because these things never mattered, but because they no longer need to define you. You are free to live without them. And here is the final truth. Letting go is not a one-time event. It is a lifelong practice. Again and again, life will ask you to release. Again and again, you will be tempted to cling. But every time you choose release, you grow lighter. Every time you loosen your grip, you discover more freedom. Every time you set something down, you make space for joy. Letting go is not easy, but it is simple. Open your hands. Trust the flow of life. Breathe. And remember, you don't have to carry it all. You never did. Letting go is not just an idea. It is something you practice, moment by moment, until it becomes the way you breathe. Some people think letting go means giving up, but in truth, it is the opposite. It means choosing to stop carrying what was never yours to carry. It means trusting life enough to know that even if one door closes, another will open. Think about the things you've held onto for years: an old mistake, a lost opportunity, a broken relationship. Have they brought you peace, or have they drained you, little by little, without you even noticing? Holding on feels like control, but it is only fear dressed up as strength. True strength is in release. When you learn to let go, you begin to taste freedom. The heavy chains of regret, of expectations, of resentment start to fall away. Suddenly you can breathe deeper. You can smile more easily. You can see the beauty in small, ordinary moments that were always there, but hidden behind the fog of attachment. Letting go also gives you space to grow. Imagine a tree. If the tree refused to drop its leaves in the fall, it would never have room for new leaves in spring. In the same way, when you release what no longer serves you, you create space for love, joy, and peace to enter your life. You open yourself to new beginnings that were waiting patiently at the edge of your awareness. This doesn't mean life will always be easy. There will always be losses, changes, and unexpected turns. But when you live with the art of letting go, you are no longer crushed by them. You see them as part of the dance of life, not as punishments. You learn to trust the flow instead of fighting the river. And in that trust, you find peace. One of the most powerful things you can do is to let go of the need to be perfect. Perfection is a story the mind tells, a moving target you can never hit. But when you let go of perfection, you discover the beauty of being human. You discover that your mistakes make you wiser. Your scars make you real, and your journey exactly as it is already enough. Letting go is also about forgiveness. Not just forgiving others, but forgiving yourself. You have carried enough guilt, enough shame, enough self-criticism. Let them go. You don't need to keep punishing yourself for the past. You deserve kindness, compassion, and love, starting from within. So how do we live this in daily life? Start small. Breathe and notice when you are holding on maybe to a thought, a worry, or an expectation. Pause. Then tell yourself, gently, I can release this. Feel the lightness in your body when you let it go. With practice, this becomes a habit, and soon, life feels less like a burden and more like a gift. Letting go doesn't take away what's important. It allows you to hold it with open hands, without fear, without clinging. It allows love to flow freely, because love cannot be forced or trapped. It must be free to breathe. And when you live this way, you discover a happiness that is not based on conditions, but on presence itself. So today, I invite you, let go. Let go of one small thing you've been carrying. Maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a fear, maybe it's a story about who you should be. Release it and feel the lightness in your chest. This is the beginning of freedom. And as we close this journey together, I want to thank you for listening, for being open, for giving yourself this moment of reflection. Remember, happiness is not in what you hold onto, but in what you release. If this message touched your heart, I invite you to join me on this path of learning, reflection, and inner growth. Subscribe to this channel so you won't miss the next video. Share your thoughts in the comments, because your story might be the spark that inspires someone else. Together, we can build a community of lightness, peace, and courage. Thank you, truly, for being here. Keep breathing, keep letting go, and keep walking with kindness toward yourself and others. Freedom is not somewhere far away, it's right here, in the art of letting go.